So here is AMZN, Amazon. This finishes at $28.92. That is up 4.65%. But in the aftermarket here, this is pulling back down to $26.30 now.
And it's gone.
Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. So here is AAPL Apple. This finishes at $164 today. That is up 4.52%. But in the aftermarket here, this is pulling back down to $160. So crazy day for this stock. A lot of price action, huge gain in the regular trading hours. And then we had earnings come out. So the earnings were really good, which we'll get to in a second here. But this aftermarket action makes no sense. So good earnings, the stock went up to 170, which was expected, and then started dumping all the way down to 153, and has since recovered to 160. But it doesn't really make too much sense. No reason to justify this aftermarket action. But let's go ahead and take a look at the earnings now. So EPS was $1.52, which beat the estimate of $1.43, and revenue was $97.3 billion, which beat the estimate of $93.89 billion. So beat on both EPS and revenue. Very good earnings. In addition to that, we do have some news. There's going to be a $90 billion stock buyback. Very bullish. And then dividend is going to get raised from 22 cents to 23 cents. So yeah, great earnings, great news. All seems very bullish, but for whatever reason, the stock is selling off here. But hey, that's the market for you these days. Still up for the day though, overall. So let's go ahead and analyze now. So first of all, this appears to be a cup and handle in the making. Bottom of the cup being 155, and there can be multiple possible tops. It can be 171, 174, 179, or even the high of 183. But those are all bullish indicators. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. We do have a gap down back at 174, so that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to 174 to fill this gap. And then way back here, we do have a gap up at 137. So that's a bearish indicator. That is telling us that the stock may come back down to 137 to fill this gap. Looks pretty unlikely at this point, but possible. So be aware of that, guys. And in the aftermarket here, this is pulling back down to 160. So that's a bearish indicator for tomorrow. That is suggesting that tomorrow the stock will sell off. And down here on the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD line is looking like it's starting to reverse. Hasn't quite crossed the signal line yet, but that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that it may be time to buy pretty soon. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description down below. So right now this is sitting on the support of 164, which it finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 165, 166, 168, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 177, 178, 179, 180, 181, and then the high of 183. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 163, 162, 161, 160, 159, 158, 157, 156, 155, 154, 152, 151, and then 150. There is support below 150, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So yeah, pretty easy support and resistance here. It's only increments of $1 or $2. So right now at this current price, 164, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty wide. So expect significant price action either way this goes. RSI is currently at 47. So that is pretty average, a little bit below average. So according to the RSI, the current price of 164 is around fair market value. Maybe should be a little bit higher. And this did 129 million in volume today. Very significant volume, way above the average of 92 million. So this pump today was confirmed by the volume. Okay guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So again, really not sure why this is selling off in the aftermarket after good earnings and bullish news. But it's still up for the day and does look pretty bullish in the short and long terms. Got some pretty strong bullish indicators in the cup and handle and gap down. Only bearish indicator is the gap up at 137, which is unlikely to fill. And we have a neutral indicator in the RSI. So overall, the stock does look slightly bullish to bullish at the moment. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, 164 is a pretty decent entry. Not anything great, but pretty average entry. Really can't go too wrong buying in here at 164. And in the aftermarket, it's pulling back down to 160, so even better entry. So I can't support going long at 164 and lower, and if it pulls back below 164, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. And yeah, it does appear like there is some pretty strong support at 155. That's the bottom of the cup. So I really don't expect this to go lower than 155. So this should come back up to 174 to fill the gap. That's about a 10% upside, and really shouldn't go below 155. That's about a 3% downside. So 10% upside potential, 3% downside potential from the price of 160. So I would say going long here would be a really low risk, low reward play. Not anything fancy, not anything too crazy, but this is what you get with a blue chip value stock like Apple. So it looks relatively safe, so really can't go too wrong buying in at 160 and lower. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that. I would not recommend that. Don't really see a reason why you would do that. Definitely going to go up in the long term. Again, looks like there's a 10% upside potential, 3% downside potential, but there's really not too much money to be made here on the downside. Again, there is the gap up at 137, but that's unlikely to fill. But if it does, that'd be about a 15% downside. I just really don't think it's even worth it. Probably not going to happen. Again, pretty strong bullish indicators. So I would say going short here would be a low risk, really low reward play. It's not too risky, because even if you do go short, you're probably not going to lose too much money, but really no money to be made here on the downside. So I just don't see a reason why you go short here. Doesn't seem too logical, and you're probably not going to make too much money. Don't short this one, guys. No point. So pretty straightforward here. Good earnings, good news, but for whatever reason, this is selling off right now. But still, in the short and long terms, looks pretty bullish. So really can't go too wrong buying in here at 164, 160. Looks like a good buy and hold, and really no reason to go short here. Really no money to be made here on the downside. So congratulations to everyone who made money in the stock today, and good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is AAPL Apple. So here is AMZN, Amazon. This finishes at 28.92. That is up 4.65%. But in the aftermarket here, this is pulling back down to 26.30 now.
And it's gone.
So the stock pumped today because the overall market did really well, especially tech, and looks like earnings weren't that great. So let's check that out right now. So EPS was negative $7.56, which missed the estimate of $8.07. So huge miss there. Very disappointing. Revenue was $116.4 billion, which beat the estimate of $116.3 billion. So a huge EPS miss, slight revenue beat. Guidance is $116 billion to $121 billion, and the estimate is $125.55 billion. So guidance does not look good. But yeah, this is pretty disappointing. Pretty bad earnings, if you ask me. It says the company lost $3.8 billion this quarter, and a big reason for that is their stake in Rivian. So Rivian got destroyed, and Amazon has a pretty big stake in there. So apparently, this is the first loss for Amazon in 7 years, and they're blaming a large part of that loss due to Rivian. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Really bad earnings. Really disappointing. And that's why the stock is selling off here in the aftermarket. All right, let's go ahead and analyze here. So first of all, this appears to be a cup and handle in the making. It looked like the bottom was 27.20, but after this aftermarket sell-off, looks like the bottom is going to be even lower. So really can't tell where the bottom is going to be, but there can be multiple possible tops. It can be 31.53, 32.46, 33.73, 34.24, 34.85, 35.52, 36.40, or even the high of 37.73. But those are all bullish indicators. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. We do have a double gap down. First gap down back here at 32.66. So that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to 32.66 eventually to fill this gap. And second gap down has not formed yet, but it will tomorrow. And that's going to be at 28.05. So that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to 28.05 eventually to fill this gap. And in the aftermarket here, this is selling off down to 26.25. So that's a bearish indicator. That is telling us that tomorrow the stock will probably sell off as well. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description down below. So right now this is sitting on the support of 28.92, which finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 29.14, 29.52, 29.76, 3007, 3035, 3052, 3074, 3098, 3118, 3134, 3153, 3163, 3191, 3207, 3223, 3246, 3259, 3284, 3296, 3319, 3334, 3359, 3373, 3401, and then 34.24. There is resistance above 34.24, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 28.78, 28.51, 28.17, 27.89, 27.66, 27.50, 27.34, 27.20, 27.07, 26.75, 26.33, and then 25.52. There is support below 25.52, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 28.92, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty wide, so expect significant price action either way this goes. RSI is currently at 42, so below average there. So according to the RSI, the current price of 28.92 should be a little bit higher. And really after the sell-off in the aftermarket, the RSI is going to be even lower tomorrow. So this could be a good buying opportunity. Not financial advice. And this did 6 million in volume today, way above the average of 3.5 million. So this pump and sell-off today was confirmed by the volume. Okay, guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So obviously, the earnings were really disappointing, but still, this is Amazon, blue chip value stock, not going anywhere. So this may keep selling off in the next few days, but the chart appears to be pretty bullish in the short and long terms. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, 28.92 is already a pretty good entry. But tomorrow, this is probably going to open up in the 2600s, which is an even better entry. So I would apply the 3-day rule here, which for everyone who doesn't know, is when a stock gets wrecked, it's recommended that you hold off, wait at least 3 days until you enter. Wait for the volatility to cool off. So yeah, 28.92, already a pretty decent entry. Right now in the aftermarket, it's trading at 26.35. Excellent entry. But honestly, it's probably going to go even lower than that. So I can support going long at 28.92 and lower. And if it pulls back, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. But yeah, if you hold off for a couple days here, you should be able to get a really, really excellent entry, wherever that may be. So eventually the gap at 32.60 should fill. And from the current aftermarket price of 26.35, that would be about a 25% upside. So a lot of upside potential here. And I really can't say how low this is going to go. But again, this is Amazon, not going anywhere. Blue chip value stock. So it really shouldn't go too much more to the downside. So I would say going long here would be a low risk, medium to high reward play. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. This would be a good time to buy the dip. As a wise man once said, buy the effing dip. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that. I would not recommend that. Should have went short a long time ago. Back in the $3,000 range, even the high 2,000s. Here at 26.30, I think it's a bit too late to go short here. Already missed a lot of downside. Got some pretty strong bullish indicators and really no bearish indicators. So not sure how low this is going to go, but really shouldn't go too much lower. So I would say going short here would be a medium to high risk, low reward play. Just doesn't really make sense. Don't see why you would do that. A lot of upside potential, not too much more downside potential. Blue chip value stock. This will recover. It will have its day again. So you missed a chance, and at this point, really no reason to go short. Please don't do that, guys. So pretty straightforward here. Bad earnings. Stock is selling off, but looks like a good opportunity to buy the dip. Looks pretty bullish in the short and long terms. So if you want to go long, 28.92, 26.30, already really good entries. But I would give it a couple of days, and you should be able to get an even better entry, wherever that may be. 3-day rule. And if you want to go short, I would not do that. Missed your chance. Not so much more downside potential, and you're probably going to get burned. So sorry to everyone who lost money in the stock today. And good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is AMZN, Amazon. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please, like the video. Please subscribe. And catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know. Diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.